And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look here at Century Golem Edition Eastern Mountains. This isn't a review, it's more just to show you what comes in this set. And the reason for that is this is Century. So this is from a trilogy of games. This is the second in that trilogy, and it's a retheming of the original trilogy, which was just about going out in the spice roads and delivering things. And there's a triple Century set, right? And the first one is Century Spice Road, and then the second one is Century Eastern Wonders. Here we have Century Golem Edition Eastern Mountains, which is the exact same game as Century Eastern Wonders. So if you want to know what I think of that game and my thoughts on it, which, spoiler, I like it. Not as much as the first game, but I think it's very, very good. And this mixes with the first game. So this is the exact same thing. It just has a fantastic golems where there's these giant golems and you're getting them to help you deliver these gems. So it's just two themes pasted on the same game. So you can mix this with the very first game, Century Golem Edition. You can mix Century Eastern Mountains with that. So two different rule sets come in this box. Let's take a look at what's inside this box. Well, first of all, you'll notice that I have the game set up on the optional mat that you can buy, and oh my goodness, the mat is so amazing. It has spots here for the cards from the first game, which are not being used at what I'm showing you here. I'm just showing you the setup for the game. In fact, the game comes with two rules here. So you have the Eastern Mountains, which is this game, and then you have the Call for Adventure, which is mixing it with the original, the first game, mixing the two together. So this game comes with two sets of rules in the box. Speaking of the box itself is really easy to put everything in. You put the hexes here. In fact, it shows you how many to put in each one, I guess, and then, you know, then these fit on top of them. They're going to fit right there in the box. I forget, they work kind of like this here so that they don't go above the box lid. They fit in pretty nicely. These are the same gems from the first game if you have it. They look really good. They do fall out of these bins a little more easily than you might think. Sometimes they fall over the place, but they look fantastic. And again, even if you don't have the board, the game is going to look good. The tiles themselves are very clear. They have different cool artwork on them. You'll notice that the mountains are kind of the same on two different tiles. So for example, these two green tiles here, which are pretty much, they're different tiles. The artwork is slightly different between them, but it works pretty well. Overall, the whole board just looks really gorgeous, and I think it's pretty easy to distinguish what colors changed and what other ones. These tiles here, the different delivery tiles, victory point tiles, they have these little jagged edges around the sides of them. They look great. The X is really clear. Hey folks, this is an X. Then you have your own boards here where you're going to be putting all your little trade things on. And I should point out the trade things are probably the most boring part of the game. They just look like little Settlers of Catan houses or Monopoly houses. And then you have your own wagon that moves around rather than a ship. These are okay. I mean, you do have nice four colors here, the white, gray, purple, and black. And then you have these boards, which look great, again, using this fantastic artwork here. I could look at this Golem artwork all the time. I would love to have some of this for my wall. It just looks great. And then you have the upgrade tiles, which, you know, there's a pile of upgrade tiles that players will be able to take, and that's pretty much it. That's what's included with this game. It is much nicer than the Spice Roads Edition, Eastern Wonders, but at the same time, you know, maybe you like that better. This has that bit of a fantastical feel, although there's a little bit less Golem-esque stuff to this. You might not even notice the Golem unless you're looking at your player board here because of the absence of cards, unless of course you're playing the version that includes the cards. Again, the board doesn't have to be there. You can just have the tiles out in the middle here without them. Just realize it doesn't look quite as good, but it still is a feasible thing to do. And there's a possibility some people will think that the board looks too busy. I personally love it. Well, there you go. For me, if I'm getting one set, I'm getting the Golem set. I like it better. Now, granted, the third set for Century is out, the original series, and it's not out for this one yet. But if you can wait, I would imagine it'll be released in a year. The third edition of this, which, by the way, is fantastic, the end of the trilogy. But it all comes together really well, and this is, oh man, the components here, I think, are vastly superior to the original Century series. But it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. You don't need to own both. Pick the one you like. This one's prettier, but at the same time, you might like the more real-world groundedness of the first trilogy. A lot of fun, and it's really cool. There's very few games where the sequel and the original combine to make a mixed game that works really well. This is one of them.
Thanks so much for watching another Dice Tower video. If you enjoy our videos, subscribe to the channel for more fun, comprehensive board game coverage. Also, consider joining us at one of our events. Come to Dice Tower Retreat, a small, intimate gathering where gaming is king. Join us for Dice Tower Cruise, the largest board game cruise. Attend Dice Tower West in Las Vegas for gaming fun on the West Coast, or Dice Tower East in Orlando, in sunny Florida. Dice Tower Conventions, the friendliest gaming conventions on Earth. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.